My name is Terry King. I'm a devout believer in Jesus Christ. My goal is to put the sword through the dragon's head.
Hello everyone, all glory to God. So long story short, don't have the studio anymore. I think many of you have probably figured that out. Been moving around, remodeling houses, trying to get it done, if you get what I'm saying. The Lord wants me to speak specifically about restoration. He wants me to speak about healing. This has just been sort of an ongoing theme. Psalm 23 verse 3, He restores my soul. There would be no need for soul restoration if our souls weren't broken, shattered, abused, degraded, in some cases held captive. I'm not going to get into all that, but what I will say is 17 years ago, I was in deep prayer, and I was led to pray specifically to the living God to reveal to me places that I was lacking, places that I needed restoration, broken parts, so to speak. And through that prayer, and it was a process. I'm not going to get into necessarily all the details. I'll make a more detailed video later. There are a couple others out there that are already published. You might want to check those out if you haven't already. But 17 years ago, I had a confrontation with a 7-year-old soul part of myself. I have this image of this marble surface, how smooth it is, how reflective it is, and a defilement. So when concrete or marble is defiled, it gets pitted, it gets scratched, it gets deeply grooved. A spiritual defilement is a sense of shame, it's a sense of corruption. And so when someone is defiled, specifically at a young age, that affects the way that they perceive themselves. It affects their actions in every aspect of life. It affects the way the world perceives them. It affects where they're going. It affects their perspective. It affects every single thing with respect to their life and their life course, if you get what I'm saying. And the living God, Jesus Christ, said that anyone who causes one of these little ones to sin, it'd be better for them to have a great millstone hung around their neck and for them to be cast into the sea. The Lord wants us to be restored. He wants to restore that shiny, perfect surface. And the way that can happen is trust. We have to trust. We have to let go of the reins and trust that not everyone wants to defile you. Not everyone has an ulterior motive. Not every single person out there is out there to get one over on you, if you get what I'm saying. I know what it's like to be used and abused and tossed aside like garbage. I know what that's like. From trusted caretakers, family members. I know what that's like. When every single person who comes into your life and shows some type of interest, somebody new, turns out to just want something. Psalm 23 verse 3, He restores my soul. The living God can do that. He's going to do it for you. He wants to do it for you. Do you believe He wants to do it for you? With that restoration comes memories, new joy, new perspectives, perspectives once held that perhaps I forgot about or you might have forgot about. And so this has been this ongoing sort of process for restoration, because it doesn't all just happen at once, depending on how many traumatic experiences you've been through. Myself, it's quite extensive. So I'm still rejoining soul parts, and most recently on a drive. And I really like long drives because it gives me an opportunity to praise and worship the living God, to stay in prayer, to hear the voice of the Lord without any type of outside distractions. not real normal person, so to speak. I don't normally have the radio on or any type of entertainment. Like, I literally stay in prayer or praise and worship the entire time, if I can. Sometimes, things happen, get a phone call, something like that. But I was led to pray over myself at every age, starting with the fetus, because as soon as we come into this density, this reality, we're subjected to the toxic poison of this fallen world, right? And so I can literally remember being in the womb and hearing people speak obscenities, speak negatively, speak toxic poison. I can remember that like it was yesterday. Maybe that's uncommon. I haven't really talked to a whole lot of people about that, but so starting with being a fetus and moving on to year 1, year 2, year 3, respectively, and on throughout my life, I started speaking healing over myself, over my body, over my mind, over my soul, and specifically for reunification, for reconnection, for reconciliation, because sometimes we have differences within ourselves, believe it or not. The Bible talks about double-minded people, right? It isn't all specifically just the enemy. Sometimes the enemy will plant seeds and those seeds will manifest. And there's times where parts of ourself will tend to agree and other parts don't. So I'm not going to get into all that right now. But what I will say is the Lord wants you to be restored. He wants me to be restored. And I'm confident that that can happen if we're aware that we need restoration, right? So I would encourage you all to pray about restoration, to actively seek that out. And, I'll look forward to hearing some of those stories. Grace and peace.
Guys.